Neymar's career might be one of football's biggest what-ifs. Known for his amazing skills and thrilling play style, he has also become known for something else: a long list of injuries. From his teenage days at Santos to his rise at Barcelona, Neymar seemed destined to become one of the greatest. In Barcelona, he was unstoppable, playing alongside Messi and Suarez before moving to PSG for a record-breaking fee. But from his time at PSG until now, at Al Hilal, Neymar's journey hasn't been so smooth. Injury after injury has kept him off the field, leaving fans wondering if he'll ever reclaim his full potential. With a growing list of serious setbacks, the question on everyone's mind now is, should Neymar retire while he still has his health, or push on despite the risks? Let's take a look at his injury history, what it has cost him on the field, and try to answer this question. First setback, the 2018-2019 season. In the 2018-2019 season, Neymar faced his first major injury, marking the start of a tough period in his career. It was in January 2019 during a Coupe de France match against Strasbourg, when he fractured a metatarsal in his right foot. This wasn't the first time he had injured that area, but this time was severe enough to keep him sidelined for almost 3 months. For PSG, this was a huge loss. They were hoping for his return in time for the Champions League, but without their star player, they struggled. This injury came just 1 year after Neymar had already fractured the same metatarsal in a 2018 Ligue 1 match against Marseille. That earlier injury had also kept him out of action for around 3 months. Fans were disappointed and PSG's hopes were repeatedly dashed. For Neymar, this was a frustrating beginning to what was supposed to be a dominant run in European football. But things didn't get any easier from here. Bruised ribs, the 2019-2020 season. Just when Neymar seemed ready to leave his injury troubles behind, the 2019-2020 season brought him another setback. This time, it was a rib injury he picked up in February 2020 during a Ligue 1 match against Montpellier. While it wasn't as severe as his metatarsal fractures, it still forced him to miss nearly 2 weeks of action. The timing was unfortunate as PSG was preparing for another Champions League push and Neymar's presence on the field was essential. Though he managed to return relatively quickly, PSG fans and management were becoming increasingly anxious. They had invested a massive amount in Neymar, and each new injury seemed to threaten their chances of achieving European glory. For Neymar, it was yet another interruption to his rhythm and momentum. The 2020-2021 season. The 2020-2021 season was when Neymar's injury troubles really started to show a pattern. He was facing not just one-off accidents, but a series of recurring issues. In October 2020, he missed over 3 weeks due to pain in his adductor muscle, only to return and then pick up a similar injury in February 2021. This time, the pain in his adductor muscle kept him out for over a month, adding up to nearly 2 months on the sidelines in total. To make things worse, in December 2020, he also had an ankle issue that kept him out for almost a month. For PSG, Neymar's absence during key games became a major obstacle. Fans were starting to get frustrated as every time he made a comeback, another injury seemed to follow. For Neymar himself, this constant cycle of injury and recovery must have been exhausting both mentally and physically. He could work his way back into form only to face another setback. Increasing severity, 2021-2022 season. The 2021-2022 season marked a point where Neymar's injuries started becoming more serious and frequent. Early in the season, he faced a few small issues like adductor pain in October that kept him out for about a week, and another minor adductor strain in November that sidelined him for just a few days. But by the end of November, things took a turn for the worse. Neymar suffered a significant ankle injury during a match against St. Etienne, which forced him to miss more than 2 months of action. This was a particularly hard blow, not only for Neymar but also for PSG, who were counting on him for their Champions League campaign. His extended absence left a gap in the team's attacking power, and his fans were starting to wonder if he'd ever be able to stay fit long enough to make a major impact. Ankle surgery, 2022-2023 season. In the 2022-2023 season, Neymar's injury troubles took an even more serious turn. Early on, he suffered a minor ankle injury during Brazil's World Cup campaign in November, forcing him to miss a little over a week. Although he managed to return to play relatively quickly, the bigger challenge came in February 2023 during a Ligue 1 match against Lille. Neymar re-injured his ankle, and this time it was severe enough to require surgery. The procedure meant he would be out for a staggering 130 days, which essentially ended his season. This injury was a major turning point. Up until now, Neymar had dealt with injuries that, while serious, didn't typically require surgery. But this ankle issue was on another level, and it raised significant concerns about his long-term future in the sport. Recovery from surgery meant Neymar had to go through an even more intense rehabilitation process, and it wasn't guaranteed that he'd return at the same level. PSG's fans and management were now facing the harsh reality that Neymar might never be the player they initially signed. Most serious injury, 2023 to 2024 season. The 2023 to 2024 season brought Neymar's most severe injury yet, and it happened in a crucial World Cup qualifier match against Uruguay in October 2023. Neymar suffered a devastating cruciate ligament tear, an injury that typically requires an extensive recovery period. He was out for a full year, missing almost an entire season. For any player, a cruciate ligament tear is one of the toughest injuries to come back from. But for Neymar, this was a particularly heavy blow. Adding to the difficulty was the fact that just a few months earlier in August, Neymar had been dealing with muscular issues that had already kept him out for 30 days. It was like the physical strain was catching up to him all at once, with major injuries stacking up one after the other. Neymar's current situation at Al Hilal. Neymar's recent move to Al Hilal was supposed to be a fresh chapter, a chance to shine in a new league. Unfortunately, his bad luck continued. Just as he was settling in, he suffered a severe ACL tear, a painful blow for both him and his new team. The injury meant he had to step off the field for months, forcing Al Hilal to adjust without their star player. Adding to the setback, Neymar picked up a thigh injury soon after returning to training. For a club that had invested heavily in Neymar, it was a big disappointment. There's even talk that Al Hilal may consider ending his contract early, a decision that shows how serious his injuries have become. The club is wondering if Neymar's presence is worth the risk, given his struggles to stay fit. Financial and contractual considerations. With Neymar's frequent injuries, the financial side of his career has also become a big issue. Al Hilal is paying him one of the highest salaries in football, which is 150 million euros annually, expecting him to play and bring home big wins. But every injury means Neymar is spending more time recovering than on the field, which puts extra pressure on the club. Neymar relies on quick movements, and these types of injuries can make that difficult. Doctors say that repeated injuries can lead to long-term problems. For Neymar, who depends so much on speed and agility, every setback adds more strain. His legs, especially his ankles and knees, have been tested over and over, and that's affecting his game. Neymar's constant injuries don't just hurt his body, they also hit his mental health. Every time he's sidelined, he has to watch his team play without him missing out on key games and the joy of being on the field. It's frustrating, especially for someone as passionate as Neymar. Conclusion, the big question, should Neymar retire? Considering Neymar's constant injuries, the question of retirement is on everyone's mind. Is it time for Neymar to consider stepping away from the game? If Neymar does decide to retire, his legacy in football will be a big part of what he leaves behind. He's known for his skills, creativity, and memorable moments on the field. But these constant setbacks make it clear that he might need to think about the future. Watching him make this choice is hard for fans everywhere, but only Neymar knows if he's ready to keep pushing forward or if it's time to step away. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like and subscribe for more insights on the latest in sports.